Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Rishi Harinanan. C News is live at noon. Topping the news at this time, the Minister of Works and Transport, Rohan Sinanan, says he stands by the statement of the Port Authority denying reports that the Ocean Flower 2, the ferry being brought into service, the sea bridge has broken down, and he says the cargo vessel called the Cabo Star is expected to arrive in Trinidad on Sunday. A statement from the Port Authority on Wednesday evening sought to deny reports which said the Ocean Star 2 vessel broke down twice on its way to this country. The Ocean Star 2 left its port of origin on June 29, 2017 and is expected to arrive in Trinidad on July 26. Pat said this vessel does not have long-range fuel capacity and is required to make various stops for fuel. It has also been reported that the weather conditions presented a challenge for the vessel to transit at its most efficient speed, and in the interest of safety it had to travel at a considerably reduced speed, which resulted in this delayed arrival. The Minister of Works and Transport said he supports the statement by the Port Authority as it explained proper procurement procedures were followed in obtaining the vessel, but he questioned if inaccurate information was provided deliberately.
I have not had any report to confirm what Mark Bassan said. I mean, I work with the port, and if the port put that statement out, I stand behind it, what the port would have put out. It is my opinion that what is happening is that somebody who was the agent for one of these vessels, probably have their story, but I am supporting the port. I have to stand behind the statement that the port put out.
The authority went on to say arrangements were made for the engagement of two vessels, the Ocean Flower 2 and the Cabo Star, which will provide passenger and cargo services respectively to ensure a more reliable service between Trinidad and Tobago while the medium-term and long-term objectives are pursued. The Cabo Star is expected to arrive in Trinidad this coming Sunday, July 16. Minister Sinanan explained what will happen after that.
I think within about a day or two. Well, they have to do the trial run and so, which normally all the vessels would do, and then immediately they have whatever paperwork they'll have to have done here, and then they start the route.
He said this cargo vessel will help those who have been using the barge since the superfast Calypso left. Calypso Rose will be honored this coming Friday with her name being placed on a Caribbean Airlines aircraft. Friday's event is in keeping with a cabinet decision earlier this year to name one aircraft in the Caribbean Airlines fleet in honor of Dr. MacArthur Linda Sandy Lewis, or Calypso Rose. The Ministry of Community Development, Culture and the Arts said this is in recognition of Calypso Rose's remarkable achievement of being the first soca artist to attain the prestigious World Music Album of the Year for her album Far From Home at the French Victoires de la Musique Awards ceremony, which took place in Paris, France on February 10. Line Minister Dr. Nian Gadsby-Dolly and the Chairman of Caribbean Airlines, Shamir Ronnie Mohammed, will unveil the Boeing 737. There's some other news now. The trade union movement wants government to meet with them before decisions are made regarding workers. This morning, members of the Joint Trade Union Movement, the National Trade Union Center, and the Federation of Independent Trade Unions and NGOs gathered at Busy Corner Shaguanas as they engaged in flyer distribution and meeting members of the public. In a statement, the body said the labor movement is the conscience of people, and as such, it intends to hold every government accountable for its treatment of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Let's say to the government and those who are in charge of governance in this country, people are suffering in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, and no amount of talk, no amount of trying to convince me that I have to suffer more for you to balance your book will suffice. In other words, there must be discussion with the right people, and the right people in this regard has to be the trade union movement.
The Trade Union Federation is mobilizing for March in Port of Spain on August 4th. Earlier this week, the unions took their mobilization drive to ARIMA. This is the C News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. Former chairman of the Southwest Regional Health Authority and Member of Parliament for Faizabad, Dr. Lackram Bodoe, said more needs to be done to address unexpected pregnancies in this country. His statement comes after a newborn baby was found in the refrigerator of a doctor's office in San Fernando on Monday. Dr. Bodoe said while he is not casting aspersions as to how the baby died and the families involved in the situation, The matter opens up a conversation for social issues.
Unexpected pregnancy is a big issue, especially amongst the younger mothers. The newspaper reports that this young lady was 22 and would have had already one child. And again, this is not to cast any aspersions or cast any blame, but certainly there is a greater need for counseling in terms of contraception that's available. I know that there are programs available from the Ministry of Health and through the RHAs and so on. And of course, there's a Family Planning Association.
Well, as the Member of Parliament for Faizabad, he's also reached out to the 22-year-old Cindy Gail Suknanan, offering assistance. She was the mother of the child. Political analyst Dr. Winford James says a tribunal to examine the current fiasco in the judiciary may help us understand the problems and provide solutions. The opposition leader, Calypso, had recommended that government set up a tribunal to look into the Master Air Caesar fiasco. Dr. James spoke with CNews this morning and shared his views.
The question is, when they find out what's happening and we don't know what they will find, what are they going to do with the findings? That's more important to me. If it is we don't know now, or we don't know for sure, then, the idea, the proposal suggests that the opposition at least is not sure. But the matter is serious enough for investigation. Then the government will have to decide, what do we do with these findings?
Last week, 2 members of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission resigned. Both retired Justice of Appeal Humphrey Stollmeyer and Roger Hamilton-Smith said they did so for personal reasons. So far, no one has been appointed to replace them.
There is the matter of the delay and whether Parliament can fix that. You follow? That by probably coming up with amendments to existing legislation that imposes a time limit on presidential action.
Meanwhile, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, or the opposition leader, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, has accepted a request by the Prime Minister to meet and discuss issues affecting the country. Mr. James said he wants crime to be on the front burner. He also wants to hear if they can agree on moving the economy forward.
Even though we are allowed that the government is the one that ought to have its agenda, right, because they are the government, the public can benefit from a legislative collaboration. So that's one matter. Crime. The second thing is the economy. Are there matters about the economy that we can achieve agreement on? Now, that one is very difficult because the party in waiting probably likely to have its own ideas as to the kinds of measures, fiscal and related, that the government can adopt. I don't know if Dr. Rowley will raise that.
And Pastor Clive Doughton believes that this is a critical moment in our history. He is pleased that the Prime Minister and opposition leader have agreed to meet, warning that it's a period of momentous change or stagnation.
I believe this represents the last major chance for a united fight against the criminal mafiatic empire. Make no doubt about it. We are on the edge of a huge gaping precipice. And now is the time to put the political scoring points. You know, now is the time. Always remember what the former president said. We must not be preparing for the next election, but the next generation.
He also wants the 2 leaders to really work together to save the youth of the nation. He says he is seeing budding gang members grow, and he wants the leaders to understand that we as a society can no longer play games with the young people we are supposed to be nurturing.
I want to make a solemn appeal here. I want to appeal to both the Prime Minister and leader of the opposition to display a rare form of maturity, unprecedented in the history of the country. I want them to look at the issue of saving the youth of our nation and making that the first item on their respective agendas. Now is the time to combine our resources.
Now for the weather, partly cloudy to cloudy with periods of light to moderate showers in various areas. A few of these showers can become heavy and thundery. Settled conditions are expected tonight. Gusty winds, street and flash flooding can accompany heavy showers and thunder showers. Sea conditions can also become choppy in and near heavy showers and thunder showers. There is no quick solution to the problem of the Sargassum seaweed, which is here again and is said to be posing a problem for many people in Tobago. Education Coordinator, Environment Tobago, Barry Lovelace, updated us on the situation this morning and said there has been a significant build-up on beaches in the east, but while he acknowledged the challenges with the seaweed, he said there are some benefits.
In terms of what happens to it after it washes up on the beach, well, over time it will decompose and it will act as fertilizer to coastal plants on the sandy and act as a beach stabilizer. So that could be a good thing. And eventually, during storm conditions, the storm would wash it back into the sea after it would have been decomposed, much of it. Some would stay there and kind of stabilize the beach.
Trinidad-born Savile Row master tailor Andrew Ramu believes we can build a sustainable creative industry in the Caribbean, and he's hoping to do this by providing entrepreneurial support with philanthropic values to students and designers. At the launch of his brainchild, Fame Caribbean, Mr. Ramrup said Fame will aid in the creation of something meaningful and sustainable by giving local designers the opportunity to provide high-quality garments to the global market, thus helping to diversify the economy.
Open the overseas markets for garments, high-quality garments that are produced here in Trinidad and Tobago. If we wait and we keep on waiting, we keep on talking about doing things, nothing will ever happen. So my plan here is to build simultaneously the opportunities that the designers can see in the marketplace, and then they will, in turn, will send their staff, send the young people to be trained formally and to be trained to a high standard.
The Member of Parliament for Tunapuna, Esmond Ford, who spoke on behalf of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, said Fame's efforts dovetail with the government's focus to commercialize the fashion industry and to strengthen the export capacity. He also revealed that government is in the process of establishing a garment production facility meant to boost the production capacity of local fashion designers. For some other news now, the Minister of National Security, Edmund Dillon, has praised the Citizen Security Program for its positive impact in what are considered criminal hotspots. Speaking at the graduation ceremony for ICT program at COSTAT, he said the statistics showed a correlation with a drop of criminal activity and the CSP.
Programs such as the CSP offers effective methods in empowering community members, improving perceptions of safety, strengthening public safety, infrastructure, and reducing crime and violence. In fact, the Citizen Security Program has noted that through their interventions and training programs in CSP communities, trends in crime and violence are moving downward.
The CSP saw 20 people graduate after completing training in information and communication technology, a field the minister said had major relevance.
Is most relevant, as information and communication technology currently plays a very critical role in our world today. We are now living in what can be described as a constantly evolving digital world, where all persons must seek to get on board or left behind.
Well, the Junior Minister of Tourism competition, which is in its second year, saw the ministry receiving submissions from 16 schools, all hoping to have their representative cop the coveted title. The students ages 14 to 17 chose from 3 topics and were asked to present a 3-minute speech to a panel of judges. Dion Batiste was there and has more in this report.
Tourism has been identified as a tool for diversification which will help us weather the storm during these economically trying times. So says Minister of Tourism Shamfa Kujo. Speaking at the Junior Minister of Tourism competition hosted at the government campus on Wednesday, she said government is determined to encourage youth involvement as we move forward.
Who better to recruit as agents of sustainable tourism than the innovators of today and the leaders of tomorrow, you or young people? I must say, I am truly amazed by the new developments that I have seen thus far due to the free spirit, innovation and determination of our youth.
One student proposed the Elite 868 Experience Card, which she hopes will encourage visitors to participate in activities unique to Trinidad and Tobago.
The name says it all. The Elite 868 is an experience card for all tourists, showcasing the first-class destination of Trinidad and Tobago. The card accumulates points as all visitors explore the isle, visiting different popular landmarks such as the Asia Nature Center, Pigeon Point Beach.
Leanne Telesford noted the need for a family-friendly festival which caters to a larger cross-section of citizens and tourists. Her proposal, a Pui festival, an idea which caught the judge's attention and won her first place and the title Junior Minister of Tourism 2017. Akin to Japan's Cherry Blossom Festival, she said this event will be the perfect alternative for those who want to visit our shores and live the true Trinbagonian experience, but prefer to do so outside of Carnival.
Imagine walking through a shady field of pui trees in full bloom with a blanket of flowers covering the ground. The pui tree is the Caribbean's version of the cherry blossom and can easily surpass its beauty with its bright yellow and pink blooms. I personally believe that. What if Trinidad and Tobago were to combine this part of its natural heritage with our fete culture? Just like Carnival, the Pui Festival would be about celebrating and recognizing our culture through music, fashion, food, and much more.
Ms. Teleford said these Pui parks present the perfect opportunity for local food, music, and artifacts to be put on display. Jasmine Phillips of Manzanilla Secondary School won second place, while Tashana John of Debe High School came in third. Dion Batiste, C News.
With Honduras right around the corner, the national men's football team will engage Ecuador in an international friendly as they prepare for a return to World Cup qualifying games. Dennis Lawrence's men will get a stern warm-up test when they travel to Guayaquil on July 26th to face the Ecuadorians on home soil as they get ready to host Honduras on September 1st and Panama away 4 days later. TNT hasn't played Ecuador at international level before and can expect a stern test against a team that is currently ranked 6th in CONMEBOL qualifying and eager to play as they prepare to face Brazil next. Meanwhile, negotiations are ongoing with another South American team for another friendly in mid-August as the Warriors try to stay sharp at the business of the campaign where there is no margin for error. TNT currently lies bottom of the 6-team hexagonal table, but wins in their next 2 encounters could see them quickly vault up to the standings at position number 4, which guarantees a playoff with an Asian qualifier. But that's it for sport. Well, that's how we end the C News report at noon. I'm Rishi Harinanan. Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, visit our website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.